Mark, my friend, welcome to the show. It's glad to have you.
Hey, John, thanks for having me. It's great to be with you and your community.
I sure do appreciate it. I came across your website and your story on a website for podcast guests, and I really found what it is that you do truly intriguing. And I had to have you on the show because I'm trying to broaden the scope of the show. I don't want it to be just about health and fitness, as far as the general terms of it all, but just a holistic type of broad spectrum type of deal. So why don't you, if you would, just take a few minutes and tell everybody what it is that you do and how you got involved in it.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So I'm a holistic practitioner slash energist. I do consultations for people. I do consultations for animals and their living spaces when they've hit the wall with health and well-being issues.
Okay.
Basically, what I do is I have intuitive gifts and extensive training to read the subtle energy fields and then identify and release non beneficial energies locking in place their stuff. So,
Hmm.
people like who typically comes sees me on the person side of it.
Right.
Typically, it's a consciously aware individual.
Mm-hmm.
They're already in the holistic space. So they're maybe doing organic food eating, seeing a naturopath, chiro, acupuncturist, things
Mm-hmm.
along that line. Maybe they've even seen their Western medical doctors. And for
Right.
whatever reason, maybe they found a partial solution or no solution to their issue. So they've
Mm-hmm.
often gone through 95% of the low hanging fruit that helps most people. And for whatever reason, they're stuck.
Hmm.
So often they are also in some type of level of pain or discomfort that's disrupting the quality of their everyday life. So they can no longer just kind of ignore it, put it to the side. It's really that pressing. So that's
Wow.
typically who I help with people.
Hmm.
Pets, two main reasons. So it's the consciously aware pet parents that want help with two main things. One, they've seen a change in behavior in their animal. They have a
Mm-hmm.
dog or cat. Let's say it's a dog. It's fine. Next day it starts peeing and pooing all over the household. Okay.
Okay.
They've taken the pet to the vet, run all the tests. No type of infection. Nope. So that's one reason. Another
Mm-hmm.
reason is separation anxiety, or maybe you've introduced a new animal to the household. The dynamics get wonky. I can see what's
Right.
going on.
Hmm.
The third category are people's living spaces. Now, if your audience thinks we've probably all been in spaces, walk in, and we know we just want to run out. We don't know
Mm-hmm.
why, but we just know the energy's off. I can
Right.
see what's blocking that place and clear it.
Hmm. That's amazing. That's amazing. So now let me ask you, what do people and I guess animals as well? What do they experience when they go through a consultation with you?
Yeah, so each session is unique. All my work is customized, okay, to that particular person or animal or space. So each person will have his or own experience, and that's perfect for that individual. Typically, people will experience sometimes as I'm doing the session itself, they'll notice sometimes energy moving in their body. Maybe they feel a little bit lighter outward. They'll often say, "Oh, I just feel happier. I'm not sure why." Or often, if it's like a physical pain, I've had people. I work with a woman. She had kind of like some type of a foot pain for 20 plus years. Kind of come and goes type pain.
Right.
I did a consultation with her. Her pain level went from a 10 to a 2 in 20 minutes. And then a few days later, it went to 0 and has stayed gone. So, those are some of the things that are possible for people to experience.
Hmm. That's awesome. Now, let me ask you because I was reading through some of your bio here, and there are like different types of like, are they codes that you work with? There's like a body code and an emotion code, and then there's something else called ash work. If you would, why don't you explain the differences between those terminologies?
Yeah, so these are all kind of tools, holistic healing systems tools that help move stuck energy. Let
Mm-hmm.
me start with the first one, which is the emotion code. So the emotion code is a holistic healing tool in which the practitioner uses his or her intuition and the emotion code chart to identify and release negative trapped emotions that are locking in place their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When I'm talking about negative trapped emotions, your audience can probably identify with, unprocessed grief, anger,
Right.
love unreceived, over 60 trapped emotions.
Mm-hmm.
This system was developed by Dr. Bradley Nelson. This is the first edition of the book, The Emotion Code. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Dr. Nelson created the system to teach everyone how to identify and release your negative trapped emotions. Maybe from 2 days ago, 2 years ago, you can come into this lifetime with inherited negative trapped emotions. All that
Right.
can be identified and released.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the emotion code in a nutshell. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The body code was also created by Dr. Bradley Nelson. The emotion code was created in 2007. Let me add briefly, Dr. Nelson's a holistic chiropractor, medical intuitive, and he would adjust those that have gone to the chiro, he'd do the adjustments, and sometimes people's things kept coming back. So
Right.
2009, he got a second divine download after the emotion code that said, in addition to releasing all people's negative trapped emotions, let's clear out other imbalances.
Mm-hmm.
So the body code tracks 6 major imbalances. So all the negative trapped emotions of the emotion code, plus much more. Behind negative trapped emotion, the most common reason people have their stuff is toxicity.
Right.
Cell phone radiation, Wi-Fi. Since you're a nutritionist and a lot of your audience are into physical nutrition, we know that we want those chemicals out of our body because they can be a major source of imbalance. Mm-hmm. Also, vaccinations, mercury fillings, all that stuff can be identified and released.
Hey guys, I just wanted to jump in here and make sure that you're enjoying the video. I'm sure you are. And if you like what I'm doing, please subscribe to the channel, click the bell, make sure you select the all feature so that way you get notified when new episodes of my podcast drop. And if you would, right up here in the top right hand corner of my channel where my links are, there's a Patreon link. If you guys could help out there, it'd grease the wheels to keep this thing moving, and I surely would appreciate it. Now, let's get back into the video. Right.
The last piece you asked me about, the other modality, is ASH work. Mm-hmm. ASH stands for Activated Spaces Healing. This is a energy healing tool created by Rudy Hunter. Rudy Hunter has been doing energy work, energy healing, plus 30 plus years. Mm-hmm. He originally started out as a dancer and a professional musician. And one fateful evening, as a dancer, had a horrible accident, whacked out his back. No one could help him. This was back in the late 70s, early 80s. He's very scientifically oriented, but realized he needed to dance into something else, woo-woo. And so it's a tool to move stuck energy.
Oh, okay. So I need to ask you for a minute. How directly related would you say that the energies that you speak of? Because I mean, I get the whole emotion thing and how granted I haven't read the book, but I do know that it's like they say emotion is tied to motion, so your physiology can be directly affected by your emotion and vice versa. It's like Tony Robbins says all the times, if you want to change your state, if you want to change your emotional state, change your physiology, change how you're moving, change the position that you're in, change the environment that you're in, whatever, and you can change your state. So it sounds to me like a lot of this is directly related, but more from an energetic type of space. Does that sound about right?
Yeah. So I want to tie into something. So we talked about negative trapped emotions. Mm-hmm. Some of the emotions, everything has a vibration and a frequency, okay? And we know that when people are in sadness or shame, those are some of the lowest vibrations on the spectrum. And I completely agree. They say one of the best things, I agree, to get your body into a different state is move your body, dance. If you're alone in your house or apartment, that will change the vibration. There are other things you can do to raise your vibrations, but I completely agree that often just doing those things, if you're kind of in a quote unquote depressed state, go take a walk out in nature, move your body, look at your nutrition, that will,
Mm-hmm.
I agree, change that awfully.
Yeah, I mean, the more I branch out with this podcast and the more interviews that I do, the more I learn that it's just, granted, I'm a nutritionist, I'm a trainer, but it's more than just the physical and the metabolic. There are so many nuances and whatnot in play when it comes to our overall well-being. And that's why when I decided to start my business, that I really wanted to take a more holistic approach. I want to, I want to know what's going on in the mind just as much as I want to know what you're eating in the course of a day, or I want to know how you're working out. I want to know all these things because I'm learning as I go that everything is just so closely related. It's amazing. But now I have to ask you, I understand where this work would have originally came from as far as working with people. How did you get involved in working with pets?
Yeah. So my work with pets, 2011, 2013, I was living and working in Asia, in Taiwan, the capital, Taipei.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, I was doing one of the certification programs for the emotion code. And the last piece of that required that we work with at least 5 animals, okay, as our volunteer subjects.
Okay.
So living and working in Taiwan, I didn't speak Mandarin Chinese. I still don't. So I had hit the wall in trying to find volunteer clients to work with this crazy Westerner that wanted to do energy
Right.
work with. So one
Mm-hmm.
fateful day, a friend called me, a local Taiwanese friend, said, "Hey, Mark, do you want to go ice skating?" I said, I haven't been in 25 years. I'm really bad at it, but you know what? I'm just going to get out of my comfort zone and go. So,
Right.
spur of the moment, I went, joined my friend at the ice skating rink in downtown Taipei. And in that ice skating rink, there were these, we see this other business. We see all these cats in this glass window. I said, "Oh, what's this?" So, for those that have moved abroad, you always look, you see the Mandarin sign, the foreign sign, you go, "Oh." But then you
Yeah.
look, I saw the English sign. It said, "The Catzel, the Cat Hotel." I said, "Oh."
Mm-hmm.
I just knew I needed to go in. So I rang the
Right.
bell. They let us in. Turns out the owner was there. My ask to her was, I said, "Hey, I explained to her what I was doing. I said, can you refer me to an English speaking expat animal shelter in the capital where I can
Right.
work with the animal, helps them, helps me with my certification?"
Mm-hmm.
Well, it so happened, it turned out she was very open to what I was doing. She was into energy work herself. She was
Okay.
also a translator for diplomats and English to Mandarin.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, "Oh, I'm interested in what you're doing. I have friends that are interested in what you're doing. You know what? I'll book all your sessions. You can do them all here at the Cat Hotel, and I'll be your translator." I went, "What?" So I went from completely
Wow.
stuck for 2 months to doing over a 3-week period, 25 sessions with primarily cats and some dogs at the Cat
Huh.
Hotel in downtown Taipei. So when I got back
Wow.
to the US, I said, I loved
Mm-hmm.
working with animals. I said, when I get back, animals are going to be an integral part of my process. So that's how I got
Mm-hmm.
started working with animals.
Right. Now, are there times where you just work with animals and not like the pet owners too? Or is it like a combination deal? You work with them both? Because I would imagine that like the owners would directly affect the pets. How does that whole process work about actually going about working with them?
Yeah, great question. So it's actually evolved over the years. So originally, when I first started my practice back in 2013, my own business, initially it was
Mm-hmm.
more of a consultation for a pet or a person. So if it was a pet session, typically, yes, animals can have their own life issues, definitely.
Sure. Yeah.
And also, they can take on the energies, just as you said, of the household. So there's some
Mm-hmm.
stress, work, fighting. The animals did take it on and get out of
Oh yeah.
whack.
Mm-hmm.
So lately, I've been seeing over the last 2 months a slight variation of this. So animals with their own issues, animals absorbing the energies in the household, but a third category has popped up over the last 2 months. And I call that
Mm-hmm.
the animal as a pointer. So the animal hasn't absorbed the energies, non-beneficial energies from the human, but they're
Right.
pointing to me to do work on the human. Okay.
Gotcha.
So if the human's there and they want work, I said, okay, we'll just do a little tune up on you. So I have their permission. So yeah,
Right.
so usually when I'm working with animals, it's primarily
Mm-hmm.
the animal I'm working with, but then I give a little tune up to the
Right.
person. So it's more, a little bit more mixed.
And that makes sense to me because it's like we have a total of 5 dogs.
Oh wow.
Though, but and there's 4 pugs and then there's a Dachshund Chihuahua mix. But
Yeah.
now, the oldest male pug that we have, he's my dog, and
Yeah.
it's really interesting. He lets me know when I haven't spent enough time with him.
Oh yeah.
It's like they live primarily we live like at a 3-story chalet, and he lives in the lower portion of the house.
Hmm.
Um, and it's like we have a family room set up down there. We go down and watch TV and whatnot. But like when I get crazy busy with a podcast or working with
Sure.
clients or whatever may be, if I'm not spending enough time with him, he sits at the top of the steps, and
Oh
he
yeah.
just sits there, and he just every time I come out, he's looking at me and he's letting me know, hey, you need to come down here and spend some time with me. So it's really interesting how you're working with these animals and their energies and in essence their emotions as well, because they do have them, and most animals are incredibly smart, and if you just pay attention you can find all kinds of little nuances there for sure.
Oh yeah. And often the humans know, like, oh yeah, yeah, I've been going through
Hmm.
that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. So now, so you got started working with pets. What if you had to guess, would you
Yeah.
say that you work more with pets or more with people?
Now it really varies. Lately, over the last 2 months, especially
Hmm.
during COVID,
Right.
I've been getting a lot of calls, especially about people's animals.
Right.
Um, what I'm seeing is a couple things. I mean, I think the animals. It's interesting because sometimes both people could use some help and their pets.
Right.
Often 80% of the cases, if both need work and they need to choose for the moment,
Hmm.
80% of the time people say work with my pet first.
Right.
So yeah, I'm seeing, but it varies. Again, the people that tend to bring me their pets are already in the holistic space themselves. So you
Right.
know lately it's been
Yeah.
more pets, actually. It's been
Hmm.
interesting.
Yeah, and I would think that, and I can see where it would actually wind up being kind of funny because the pet owner would bring you the pet thinking the issues with the pet, when in all actuality it's actually the pet saying, "Hey, my human's got a problem. You need to work with him." Does that make
Yeah.
sense? I mean, I could see that
Mhm.
happening a lot.
Actually, I
So.
work with a lot of for on the pets. A lot of other healers bring me their
Hmm.
animals. So often they
Yeah.
work on their own pets, which is
Right.
great. And
Hmm.
sometimes they're too close to a situation and go, "Oh, I need an outside perspective," because all of us, me included, sometimes I need healing work for myself. I do a lot of work on myself, but other
Right.
times I need that outside perspective. So, I hire
Sure.
another healer to work with me.
Sure. So now, what would you say would be the biggest challenge that you face being a solopreneur and working in the field that you do?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge is just finding I'm very clear who's most likely to benefit from the type of work I do, and I think the challenge is just consistently getting before these audiences that are at least open to exploring possibilities. As
Hmm.
a solopreneur, um, you know, uh, getting on more stages, more podcasts, getting out the message to those audiences that potentially might benefit the most. I think that's the biggest challenge.
Yeah, and it's we share a like situation in that, with you're trying to get out there and help as many people as you can in your space, and I'm trying to do the same thing, and it can be really difficult if all it's like all the pieces have to line up, and
Mhm.
all you have to have the right things happen at the right time, or at least it seems, in order to really get yourself out there and be put in a situation where people can hear your message. I mean, you would think, most people think, that because of the advancements in social media and things like that, that it's easy. You just keep putting yourself out there, and well, yeah, you can do that, but that doesn't mean that people are finding you just because you're putting yourself out there. So it can be really, really difficult. And there's, I mean, I don't know about necessarily in what you do,
Yeah.
But as far as like in my space, there's so much noise. There is so much noise. I literally watched I watched an online show today. It was an interview show. I'm not going to mention the show because I don't want to
Yeah.
stir up
Sure.
anything. But they
Sure.
had it was a live show and they had a guest come on, and I could tell within 30 seconds of looking at this person that they were a fitness influencer. So I immediately went to their Instagram, and I could
Hmm.
tell just by looking at the amount she had over 1 million followers,
Yeah.
but you could tell just by looking at the followers that they were all bought and paid for, which
Mm.
is something
Yeah.
that's really really prevalent today.
Yeah.
So and I mean. I hate to say it, but I'm gonna call it for what I see. I mean, she even looked fake. She looked like she had plastic surgery done and everything else, and but when you're competing in a space with people like that, with people that have a leg up, it's difficult. And I can imagine that you would be struggling a little bit because, first of all, there are those out there, and I'm sure you know this as well as I do, that would say what you do is woo-woo medicine, so to speak.
Yeah. Mhm.
I don't think that in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
I know that nature has created a multifaceted, complex organism here, and there are so many aspects to it that we probably haven't even touched on yet. So, I
Yeah.
mean, do you come across a lot of that? A lot of people, a lot of naysayers and stuff like that?
Yeah. Like I said, I'm very clear. Like, so when I'm at a like, at a holistic fair this weekend, I'm going to be in an
Hmm.
online virtual fair in Australia this weekend.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. My first time to a virtual holistic fair. But I
Right.
think what's important, I always tell people, I'm going to present information. If you think there's something for there, you'll kind of know that there is. If not, I would say,
Hmm.
I may not be for you. Maybe you need something else. Maybe you didn't need to go
Right.
to an acupuncturist or a
Hmm.
nutritionist. Great. And if I'm not for you, may you find the solution that's perfect for you. So I'm not trying
Absolutely.
to quote unquote sell them anything. I'm going to present
Hmm.
information that makes sense. It resonates with you. Let's just take the next step. If not, move forward. Let me go
Yeah.
back to what you said about the influencers.
Sure.
The for and what I've found in my experience, yeah, there is a
Hmm.
lot of noise out there, be it on social media, podcasts, or whatever it is. And what I found is the best stages I've gotten on have come from
Hmm.
people I know that are referrals that say,
Yeah.
hey, contact so and so.
Hmm.
Okay. Those have been the best. Also,
Right.
whatever business, if your listeners have their own businesses, we all
Hmm.
know that a lot of our business is going to come from a core set of repeat customers. I was
Hmm.
looking through some notes but ideally 70, 80% of your business is going to come through repeat customers or referrals from your
Hmm.
biggest fans out there.
Oh
So,
yeah. Absolutely.
and that's just something else to keep in mind. So kind of all of us, me included, I was just actually kind of streamlining my message this morning and
Hmm.
thinking like, yeah, this is really who most likely I can best serve and who will
Right.
be interested in what I have to offer.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's like they say, if you're trying to reach everybody, you'll reach nobody. You
Yeah.
need to realize what your lane is, and shoot for that lane. You know, and I completely agree. Not only with just the niche itself or the age range or whatever it is that you're
Mhm.
shooting for, but it's like try to find one platform and make that your base of operations. That's not to say that you can't utilize the other
Right.
platforms, but
Of course.
utilize the other platforms to build the main platform that you're working on. Like when I first got into this, I'm 53 years old and I started a nutrition business, and it's like I very quickly realized that I'm not going to be able to help the amount of people that I want to help just working on a day-to-day basis, working with people as individuals. Not that I don't want to do that, but I've got a bigger message that I want to spread. So I
Absolutely.
realized that I was going to have to get into this. And when I did, it's like here I am, and it's like, okay, I years ago I had some experience as a DJ, so having a
Mhm.
microphone around never bothered me.
Yeah.
The camera thing was a little shaky there for a while, and it still is at times, but it's getting better. But
Sure.
I realized that, you know, okay, starting this podcast and reaching out and not only sharing my experience and my knowledge, but tapping into others as well,
Mm-hmm.
that gets that message out there, and the content's evergreen. Once it's made, it's not going anywhere. Somebody may see our episode of the podcast, which will probably be airing a few weeks after we're done here,
Yeah.
um, but they might see it a year down the road, and
Mm-hmm.
it might affect some sort of change in their life. And you can't do that one on one, working with one person to another. You just can't do it. So it's truly important that if you have any kind of mission, like yourself, like mine, or whatever, if you've got a message that you need to get out there, I can't encourage people enough to find a platform that they're comfortable with, and just work on it, and then just build from there. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I agree, like you said, evergreen products for the entrepreneurs out there that have some type of
Yeah.
like, evergreen course, a digital
Yes.
course that
Right.
people can learn. Because a lot of people, it's great. I'm all for self-empowerment. And I tell people,
Mm-hmm.
do things to help yourself with your healing. Do as much as you can. And then if you get stuck, book a private consultation. Otherwise, that's one way of like exactly what you said, extending your reach.
Mm-hmm.
I just attended actually a couple weekends ago a virtual online conference by this guy named Pete Vargas. He has a
Yep. I'm
program.
familiar with Pete Vargas.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Anyway, but it's people getting out their message and
Mm-hmm.
scaling it. So, like you said, private one-on-one consultations are great, but if you want to reach a broader audience, he has some very concrete suggestions on how to do so.
Sure, sure. And people that are in business, they think, well, if I'm working one on one with a person, that person's paying me for my time. And I get that. I get that whole concept. And being in business, you would think that makes sense. But if you're somebody, I don't know. I look at it like this: if you got a product that you want to sell, okay,
Hmm.
that's one thing. That's a whole nother story. But if you're somebody like yourself, like me, and like other people that are truly on a mission to help people as
Yeah.
much as possible, as many people as possible, you know, realizing that the power that you have by sitting down and turning on a camera, or using your phone and sitting with somebody and recording a podcast when somebody wants to share your story with their audience. I mean, you can't. 20 years ago, there wasn't that kind of power to reach out to
Yeah.
people. You had to be
Yeah.
on TV, and you had to have a
Oh, yeah.
big
No.
budget and all kinds of stuff. And now we have the ability to do it with our cell phones if we need to. So it's pretty
Yeah. No,
amazing.
it's very interesting that, and when we're recording this, that there are more opportunities for people to get out their message. Again, it's all about reaching the right, there are a lot of micro communities out there that are
Mm-hmm.
your the perfect, audience for what you're offering. And
Yeah.
then it's been about the sharing, and one person tells another person. It was kind of like that
Mm-hmm.
old shampoo commercial from probably like 40 years ago, and so the breakfast,
Yeah.
remember
Yeah.
that one?
Yeah.
Like it was
Yes, I
about
do remember. Yeah,
like
we're dating ourselves here, Mark. We're
I know,
dating ourselves.
it
Yeah.
is what it is. But
Yes.
yeah, and so I think there are a lot of possibilities today for solopreneurs, biggerpreneurs to get out their messages in a way that's effective and cost effective.
I agree. I agree. So now let me ask you, what can I do? What can I do to, maintain the health and integrity of my energy field? What can I do for my pets to, ensure that their energy is where it needs to be?
Yeah. So the first thing for me, I have kind of like a daily energy routine for several reasons. One, I think it's all important for us to practice excellent energy maintenance and hygiene. Okay.
Okay.
We need to be clearing out our field on a daily basis because, uh, we're energy and we can absorb the other energies. So, especially right now with amidst, COVID, hopefully we're going to move to different phase. But,
Mm-hmm.
we see if you watch the news or anything, there's a lot of fear and anxiety out there. We can absorb that, and that can
Yeah.
lower our vibration, affect all aspects of our lives. So one thing
Mm-hmm.
I think the most important thing to do, people every morning, is to ground yourself, okay, to the earth. Because when we're asleep and kind of wake up, we're always not here because we've often, many of us have gone to other places during our sleep.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So there are different grounding exercises people can do. If you're in a warm climate right now, something
Mm-hmm.
very simple you can do is just go sit out on the grass and put your feet into, bare feet on the grass. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Ideally, even 10 minutes, you're going to get a lot of healing benefits. You're going to be connected, be present. I think that's the most important thing. Most of us can easily get distracted with all the social media bells and whistles and everything
Mm-hmm.
going on, and we're not present. And we all know that in order to heal, be physically well, and manifest things on the physical level, we need to be in the now, present in our bodies. And so many people just aren't present. So
That
those
is
are some
so
things.
that is so powerful. So many times I follow people like Tony Robbins, obviously,
Yeah.
Tim Ferriss, Aubrey Marcus. These guys are like, this is the type of stuff that they all talk about on a regular basis. It's
Yep.
like I believe it was Aubrey Marcus that was like, for the first 10 minutes that you're awake, you need to, you need to focus on, visualizing yourself being in the now, and centering yourself so you can move forward and create the focus for your day and be able to sustain that focus as you move on. And then you have people like Tony Robbins, who says the first 10 minutes of his day, he takes the first 3 minutes and he practices nothing but gratitude for being alive, gratitude for breathing. He'll pick like 3 or 4 different things and he'll think about them for that first 3 minutes, and think about how grateful he is to have them. And then the next 3 minutes he shifts into another phase, and then the next 3 minutes he starts the physiology aspect where he's moving his body and things like that. So I'm in 100% agreement with what you're saying, because it's you have to start the day off grounded, whether it's going outside. I mean, there are days that you can't go outside. It's raining, it's
Right.
snowing, whatever the
Right.
case may be. But it's a matter of finding a practice that allows you to bring yourself back to ground zero and then
Mhm.
taking off from there. So
Yeah.
now, are there certain things that you could do throughout the day once you've started your day, that, like, if it's starting to get away from you and your lunchtime comes, are there certain things that you can do to recenter yourself?
Yeah. Actually, I'm getting ready to release a product, a digital
Oh yeah.
product called the Daily Energetic Hygiene Package to keep you grounded and centered every day.
That's
So
awesome.
actually, it's going to be a series of MP3s,
Mm-hmm.
short. That it's just music you listen to, but it's energetically encoded with frequencies to get your day off to a start, get you grounded.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I have one track that's a afternoon energy pickup. So, like you said, you get a little bit centered, clear
Right.
out things, and then
Mm-hmm.
prepare you for your night sleep. Kind of unwinding your day. In addition to doing the gratitude, which is absolutely essential, it's kind
Yeah.
of prepare you for the night, unwinding, because many of us, are on our phones till the last minute before we're going to bed, and we need
Right.
some unwinding time. So
Yeah.
those are some things to do, but also just on the physical plane, like I said, encourage people to take the walks around your
Mm-hmm.
neighborhood, nature, just getting out. So many of us, at least in the US, have been kind of cooped up in the houses that are
Mm-hmm.
place. Get out and walk, just move your body, like you said. That can get you grounded and centered.
Yeah, yeah. I'm fortunate enough that I live up in the mountains, and I've
Nice.
got like a big deck on the back of my house. So
Oh,
it's
nice.
like in the mornings, if I want to, I can just go right out on the deck and just absorb some of the sunlight and just breathe in the fresh air, and then it's just enjoy my surroundings. And it really does help to center me. Now the product that you're getting ready to release, it sounds like it's similar, and it may be based on the
Yep.
same technology as binaural beats. Is that kind of like what it's? Because I know I've started to use like several different binaural beat tracks.
Yeah.
Um, like if I'm in the office doing video editing or whatever the case may be, writing a blog post or whatever,
Yeah.
and I find that my brain is starting to get muddled, things are starting to run together. I'll just like turn off all the lights, and the only light on is the monitor that I'm, for the computer that I'm working with. And one of the things that I've learned that's been really helpful is running my computer and my web browser in dark mode. That is
Yeah.
also incredibly powerful. It takes away so much of that blue light. But what I'll do is I'll light an incense and I'll put on some binaural beats, and it's like 3 or 4 hours later, I've done all this work, and it just felt like it was in the blink of an eye because the whole atmosphere change just recentered me and refocused me, and I could blast through all the work that I needed to get done.
Yeah, that's great. Definitely the binaural beats. I have a collection of that from other healers. That's excellent. So,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, there's going to be like in my toolkit, like my frequency music toolkit, I have a
Mm-hmm.
variety of things. Sometimes you want
Okay.
this, that. In my case, the products I'm developing and will be released
Mm-hmm.
soon, so these are energetically encoded. So what I
Okay.
do is I go directly to God Source Creator, the team
Mm-hmm.
of archangels, and my light team, the highest beings of love, light, truth, and integrity. And I
Mm-hmm.
just download through intention. I infuse those MP3s with those intentions that they're high
Hmm.
vibrations. So that's how
Wow.
I do it.
Mm-hmm.
But there are many ways to do it, and people
Right.
report that they feel different.
Yeah. 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 Well, I'm looking forward to those products coming out. I'm definitely gonna need to check that out for sure.
Great, yeah.
So all right. So let's see. We've touched on ways that we can maintain the energy, balance as far as that's concerned. What would you say to people that are looking to get into any kind of holistic healing practice? What would be the advice that you would give to them?
Like as a business, thinking like I think I want to,
Yeah,
or like
yeah. Like if they wanted to start, if they wanted to start practice holistic healing on their own as a business.
okay. So first thing, whatever, if a lot of people start training in certain modalities, body code, emotion code, theta healing, whatever it is. My top advice, as while you're doing that, make sure you're figuring out once you're done with your certification how you will make it as a business. So many people that do healing work are very heart centered. They want to help humanity, help people,
Mm-hmm.
animals. And for a lot of them, maybe that they don't have any prior quote unquote business experience.
Right.
So I would encourage them. There's more available now than when I first started, but to think like, okay, what is my business? How am I going to sustain myself? Yes, serve people, serve humanity. And, there's the tangible aspect is, yes, I must earn some income. Always keep in mind an energy exchange. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you're providing a service of value that improves people's life. You need to get paid for it. Okay.
Yep.
So I would
Mm-hmm.
say that'd be my top advice. There are a lot of different programs out there that will teach
Mm-hmm.
people how to build a holistic healing business. Okay. So
Right.
you can, if people choose that that's their main source of support, that they'll know how to do that in a way that's, high integrity, that, serves people, serves the planet, and, you can support yourself.
Yeah, it's really important. I mean, I that was a lesson that I learned early on, starting my business, and I learned it through some mentors, some people that I
Sure.
actually picked up along the way. And they were like, the fact of the matter is, so many people get involved, whether it's they get a certification in holistic healing, or
Yeah.
they get certified as a personal trainer or a nutritionist. And then they're so eager to get business that they they don't charge anywhere near what they're worth because they're
Right.
desperate to get the business. Now, my philosophy actually comes from another one of my mentors, which is Gary Vaynerchuk, and
Sure.
he is all about give till it, just
Oh yeah.
give, just keep giving, keep giving, keep giving, keep giving, and then every now and then ask. It's like he wrote that book. I think it was Jab 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 Right Hook.
Yeah.
um you know and the philosophy behind the whole concept of that book is kind of how I do things. I give
Yeah.
sometimes to a fault. I give when I shouldn't give,
Yeah.
but I do it because you know the more I give, the more it winds up coming back to me in one way, shape, or form. That's how I look at it. And
Yeah.
yeah, I
And
think
I
you were
think
spot on with your advice.
Yeah, and I think giving can assume many forms. Yeah, there are times I've been abroad, and then I just help people on the streets.
Hmm.
So, uh, you know, yeah, sometimes Absolutely. And then giving in a certain way, like I have my own show, the People and Pets show, where I bring on other healers, people to share, their
Right.
messages,
Hmm.
so to give back to the community. So yeah, I completely agree. It is giving, and I found for a lot of healer types, sometimes it can be 100% giving and not open to receiving. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that can
yeah,
happen too. That can
yeah,
you can be so focused on giving that you don't receive, and no matter how much we want to give our all, there are times that we have to step back and refocus on us too. And
yeah,
if we spend so much time, I mean, it's like anybody that's in a business. If all you do is give, and like if you're always jabbing and you never do the right hook, if you never ask, how do you expect to build a business? How do you expect to eat? So
yeah,
it's always difficult, or at least for a lot of people anyway, to know when it's time to say, hey, okay, I've given all this value. Now it's time for me to ask. Now it's time for me to sell this or sell that, or put together some sort of package like what you're doing, or put
hmm,
together some sort of course or things like that. It can be really hard for people to be able to differentiate. And I think part of it is because once you get in that mode of giving, you're focused on that and you kind of lose sight of other things.
yeah. And many people said, we can give, when our cup is full too. There's going to
Mm-hmm.
be more to give, but if our cup's depleted, it'll be harder to serve others too. So,
Exactly.
it is a balance. It's not,
Yep.
either or. It's a balance between giving, and also being
Mm-hmm.
open to receive.
Okay. Now let me ask you: could you, in just like a few minutes or whatever,
Yeah.
could you give us an idea of the types of things that you would do? Say you were working with me, and I had some
Okay.
blocked and negative energy that needed to be released. What would be some of the things that you would do? Like if you could like do an example release or something like that.
Yeah. Well, let me just ask you again, do you have anything going on right now, in any world, shape or form that you'd be comfortable sharing? And we could do a little mini healing, like 3 to 5 minutes.
Sure, sure. I mean, I've got a all right. I've got a lot of stress right now,
Okay.
and it's due to my current physical state. I
That's fine.
um I had so I'll give you a little context. Last year I had some major knee issues. I had to have surgery on one knee, and I had to have a full knee replacement on the other.
Okay.
And I went from being extremely healthy, 15% body fat.
Yeah. Wow.
I wound up picking up like 50 pounds. And I was just starting to lose some of it, and then COVID happened, and they shut down the
Sure.
gyms, and I've kind of been struggling with, the fact that my health is starting to get away from me, and I'm in my 50s, so I'm not a young man, and it's kind of irritating me a little bit. So there's some
Okay.
negativity for you.
All right. Or do you have any? You said, do you have a little discomfort, pain in your neck right now, or not?
No, no, not my
No.
neck. No,
Okay.
my knee, the knee that I had replaced, I still have pain in it, but that's probably always going to be there.
Huh?
I don't know that. I don't know that to be sure,
Well, you
but
want to see what's possible? Do you have any pain right now in
sure.
that knee? Okay. Which
Yeah,
knee?
it's
Which
my
knee is
right
it?
knee. My right knee.
Right.
Hmm.
Okay. Just on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 is no pain, discomfort, 10 is pain to the max. Where are you right now? Whatever it is. Fine.
No, about a 4.
Okay. How about we just do like a mini healing on that right knee pain? Does that work for you?
Sure.
Okay. Well, let's see what's possible. So what
Okay.
I do, I'm going to tune into you. You're energetically testable, which means your spine's aligned. You're hydrated. Yes. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
test on myself. It's always ask for help from above, God, source, creator. That's where the healing comes from.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, actually, I'm going to a system called Topocan Healing. We didn't talk about that one, but that's okay. I'm going to see.
Okay.
That's where I have different tools. So I'm
Uh huh.
asking your body, talking to your body. Reason for that right knee pain. Reason. Guide 1, 2. I'm looking at guide 2, column A, B, even odd. 1, 3, 5, 1, 2, 3. Okay. First thing is taking me to your 100% time travel blueprints. Okay. We all
Okay.
travel in time. I'm going to see how intact your blueprints are right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they're 11% intact. Can I just auto raise that score? I need to know something else, why they're not fully intact. Guide 1, 2. Guide 2, look at my charts, A, B, C, even odd. 1, 3, 1, 3, 1. Okay, I'm going to see how much of the positive morphic field, the blueprint you have for universal love, this life past. Okay, this is coming from a parallel timeline.
Okay.
This life, yeah, parallel. Okay, how much of your blueprint is intact for your universal love? 0, 1. Okay, it's 1% in a parallel timeline. Do you know anything else? No. Can I auto raise the score? Yeah. Archangels like team. It's now command that resolve to create this. Any blocks having the 1% universal love blueprint in the parallel timeline. Dissolve and uncreate now express way in the whole soul aspiration. Love, light, truth, integrity. Woo! White, blue, yellow, green. Anywhere that needs extra love and attention now. All right, let's see how much of the blueprint you have. When we first check, it was 1%. 7, 8, 900. Good. Let's download and activate that in your parallel timeline. Anywhere else that you need a little touch up of universal love. Good. All right, let's go back out to the time travel blueprints. Where are we now with those? 7, 8, 9, 7, 8. 98% intact now for the universal blueprint, the time travel blueprints. Let's download and activate that. Good. Anywhere else that needs touch up? Good. All right, let's go to your right knee pain, back out to the main issue. Reason guide 1, 2, A, B, even odd, 1, 1, 2. Okay, this is taking me to the category of oxygen. This has been coming up a lot lately in all my sessions. I'm going to see on average this life. Yeah, how much oxygen is getting to your body from the mitochondria and everything. It's just an energetic snapshot.
Right.
4, 5. Okay. 3, 4. Okay, 94%. Okay, ideally one at 95. Do we need anything else? Can we auto raise that? Yeah, Archangels like team. It's now command that we dissolve and create any blocks them at the 100% oxygenation level. Dissolve and create in the highest best way in the whole soul aspiration of love, light, truth, integrity. Woo! Purple, green, yellow. Anywhere that needs extra love and attention. Okay, when we checked, it was 94, 7, 8, 9, 7, 8, 98%. Can we get that any higher? No, we're just going to let that process and integrate. Okay. Anything else ready to release now? Guide 1, 2, 3, hang up visible, hidden cloak. Okay, I'm getting your body would like to process and integrate the change. So you can just kind of feel that right knee. If it feels, just gently move it.
Back up a little bit so I can move it around a little bit.
Yeah, whatever. Same, different, not sure, whatever's fine. What it is, what it is.
It's actually a little better, yeah. It's feeling a little better.
Okay,
yeah, that's awesome.
Where are you now? You had to throw it down.
Probably about a 2.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, is there anything else? I'm going to ask how much change there was. So this is what I do for my clients. How much change there was with that right knee pain? Okay, overall a 97% change. Let's see how consciously aware you are right now. 41, like 41% consciously aware. How long till you're fully aware of that 97% change? Minutes, hours, days. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, you'll be aware of more of the changes in about 2 days or so. Okay. Integrate over days.
That's awesome.
Notice what you notice about that right knee or anything else. As you know from your own work, whatever we focus on, expands. 2,
absolutely.
Drink plenty of water. How's your water drink? Great. Okay.
I drink about 10 of these a day.
I always ask. All right.
Yeah.
So keep drinking water. That was a quick process, but we released a lot of gunk. So keep flushing it out.
Absolutely.
And then just
That was pretty amazing. That was really awesome. I like that. I'm really now even more so than before. I'm really interested in checking out your products when you release it because I think it's going to be some pretty powerful stuff for sure.
Yeah, everyone has his or her own experience, and what I'm finding, the people that I can best serve usually experience some significant breakthroughs.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. So now let me ask you, because, and granted, a lot of the people that I've had on the show have either had a tremendous weight loss or they're in the health and fitness space. But I think that this question applies to you as well. It's the last question that I ask all my guests when they come on the show.
Sure.
But I'm going to kind of throw a little caveat in it. If you could affect one thing about health, fitness, or how people process their energies on a
Mhm.
global level, what would it be?
Um, Emit the frequency of love. That's the 528 frequency. That's a Hertz frequency. That's the
Mm-hmm.
universal healing of miracles and love. When we're in a high vibration, it's we'll be much healthier, happier, and peaceful.
That is amazing. That is amazing. You know, I knew when I read your bio and went to your website and did some research there. I knew that this was going to be a powerful episode, and it lived up to everything I thought it would be and more. So now, before I let you go, why don't you go ahead and let everybody know where they can find you on social media and the like, so that way they can connect with you.
Yeah, on social media, you can find me at Facebook. If you go to Facebook at People and Pets, plural, Energetics, Energetics. That'll take you to my Facebook business page. Also, you can go to my website at peopleandpetsenergetics.com. And those are the main platforms that I use.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I'll tell you what, Mark. When you once you get those products done and you release them, why don't you hit me back up and let me know? And I'd like to have you back on. Maybe we can give people a couple samples, and
Wow.
maybe we can drum
Happy
up some
to.
interest.
And also, if you're interested, what I do on my show, if
Mm-hmm.
this works for you, I
Mm-hmm.
I do live mini healings. Just kind of what I did. I take live
Okay.
callers, work with them for 5 minutes or something else. But yeah, be happy to do any of that.
That's sweet. That's sweet. And actually, so now is the link to your show, is that on your website?
Yes, it is. The link. I post the show goes live on Facebook every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. But on my
Okay.
website, I have a tab called the People and Pet Show that has
Uh-huh.
an archive of all the past. We're up to 51 episodes. We just
Oh,
celebrated
that's
the anniversary.
awesome. So you go live every week on Facebook and you have all the archives on your website. That's
Exactly. So
amazing.
people get a
That's
sense of different
amazing.
topics. Say, oh, that one interests me, and take a peek.
Yeah, that's amazing. All right, folks, you heard it. You know, you just witnessed a little bit of stuff that he did with me over a few minutes, and I can tell you that I honestly feel better. And you guys know me; I don't bullshit anybody. I tell people the way it is. So by all means, go check out his website. Check out his show on Facebook. Some awesome stuff here for sure. Mark, it was truly a pleasure to have you on the show, and like I said, I'd be glad to have you back on again once you get your product released, and we'll talk some more for sure.
Yeah. Thank you, John, and thanks to your community for listening today. Thank you.
All right, hang on one second, bud. I'm going to wrap this up, and then I'll come back and we'll have a couple parting words. Okay, guys, the proof's in the pudding. I'm telling you that 3 minutes or whatever it was that he worked with me, I felt the difference. So I know you guys got value out of this video. I know you got value out of this episode. So do me a favor, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you click the bell. Make sure you select the all feature so that way you get notified when all my videos hit. But primarily this podcast, because it's episodes like these and with Mark and with other people that I want to keep putting out on a regular basis, because I want you guys to get this information. I want this to affect your lives. Okay. But so subscribe to the channel, do all that stuff, and then up in the top right hand corner of my channel, there's a little Patreon link. If you could click that, pick one of the tiers, it would kind of help keep grease the wheels, keep things moving along here, helps to support the channel. So until I see you again, you know my motto: playtime's over. It's time to go to work.